First, want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving week. I know it's a time that we all give thanks for the things that are so good in our life and the things that we appreciate so much. And we're excited about the game on Thursday night. It changed last year, obviously, when TCU came in and played. But still, we've stressed to the players this week that not only is it senior night, which is the most special time for seniors in their career to play their last time at Darrell K. Royal Memorial Stadium, but also we're the only team in America that gets to play a game in our stadium on Thanksgiving night every year. And if they want to keep it that way, we need to play better than we did last year and continue to move forward with it. We had senior supper last night where about 30 plus of our lettermen came back and ate with our team. Sergio Kendall spoke to them about being a senior and what your last game means, and that was a special night. We had good practices last week. We've continued to have a good one yesterday. We'll practice again this afternoon. Weather's forcing us into the bubble because of the storm symptoms tonight, so we think that the weather could get bad, so we'll try to go inside, and we're lucky to have a place. David Ash will not play the rest of the year. What he will do now is we've got a handout for you. Our doctors have recommended to him, our doctors and our trainers, that he rejoin our team full speed in the spring, and he should be ready to go. He'll appeal for another year, which would give him 2 years left. But we felt like that, or our doctors and trainers just felt like that it's in his best interest to wait and rejoin the team in the spring. He's at practice, but I mean full speed. Kent Perkins is also working at first team right tackle with Kennedy Estelle, so they're competing to see who will start at that position on Saturday. Kennedy has done some good things for us, but Kent continues to improve. And there is a chance that Josh Cochran may play this weekend. He is day-to-day, but he worked a little bit yesterday, and that really helps us. Texas Tech is leading the nation in passing. It's gone back to the Mike Leach days where Cliff was the great quarterback for them and beat us out there in 2002. But he's done a tremendous job of bringing that spirit back in their passing game. They may throw up to 70 passes against you, 75 passes a game. They're moving the ball so well, and it'll really be a test for our secondary here at the end of the year with teams like Oklahoma State 2 weeks ago and Texas Tech and then Baylor next weekend. So we're getting into what the tempo, full speed ahead Big 12 offenses are like as we finish the year. Also, they've got 7 seniors starting on defense. They've done a good job there. They've had 4 tough weeks, but they're 7-4 now after a great start. And this is a game that'll be really, really important to them and one that's important to us. We quit talking about what's out there at the end because there are a lot of good things that are still out there for us, but we didn't do the things we needed to do to beat Oklahoma State, so we got to go back and make sure that we do everything we can do to beat Texas Tech on Thursday night, and that's the only thing that's important. We can worry about what's after that. And they did just tell me that the Baylor game has been scheduled for 2:30. Questions?
Mack, the emotion of senior night with a lot of guys that will play key roles, I know that's always difficult on a coach, wondering what each kid's going through that final run out of the tunnel.
It is. It's an amazing thing in pregame, and that's why I want all of our fans to come and thank these young guys for trying so hard to do the best they could do at the University of Texas, because you greet the guy and in your mind you have flashbacks of when you first met him and watching him for the 2 or 3 years before you offered him and signed him, and then go through what he's accomplished in his career here and how much he's grown up, matured, and then you watch him go down to the goal post and meet his family, and they've got tears and dreams come true because these guys are graduating and they're out of here. So their life really changes after the next 3 ball games. And this is the last one in the stadium, and they love playing at home. They love DKR, so they'll never be in that stadium for a football game again as a player, and that's a difficult time for them. What we've told them to do is mama's going to cry, but make sure they cry at the end of the game because they're happy and not at the beginning of the game, because you can start games poorly because you're so emotional that you're thinking about all these things instead of winning the game. And what our job will be to get them to focus on the game from start to finish, and then afterwards they can enjoy the moment.
Of all the seniors you've had, you probably haven't had one that's had a more up and down career as a case. Can you just talk
Case has done a number of great things for us in that he's been there for us and pulled out games on the road a lot. I was sitting in my office getting ready to go watch video last night, and I saw him, the scramble against A&M 2 years ago was on Longhorn Network last night down for the field goal, and I sat there and watched the field goal just because we need him to scramble more and make some plays with his feet like he did back then. The game at Kansas last year, the game at Iowa State this year, the game at West Virginia this year. He's just had so many great moments for us, and I know he wants to finish this thing right and be involved as a conference champion. And the thing that he's done is a lot of people have doubted him, and a lot of people have questioned him, and a lot of people said he would transfer and leave and quit, and he's done none of that. He's stayed the course. He's handled the good days and the bad days with the class that you would expect him to. When he's lost a game, he comes in here and he says, "We didn't play well," and he's really matured and grown up, and I'm really proud of him.
Is there one moment out of those that is the scramble, the one that you'll probably remember most?
I think so. I think probably the scramble because it's the last game of the series as we know it today. That last drive, I love the last drive of the game being the winning drive, and that'll be a memory with all those kids. But for him to take that team who had struggled offensively all night down for the field goal to win the game has to be a special moment.
You could be preparing for 3 quarterbacks. I mean, are they all the same because of the Cliff system that you got Webb, Mayfield, and maybe even Michael Brewer?
They are, and they're all three good, and they're all three the same, and they're very accurate, and Cliff's a great teacher, and I think he's the perfect guy for Tech. The future is bright for them, and he'll do what Mike did. He's going to bring in great receivers and throw the ball as well as anybody in the country, and it's such a credit to him that he could have said these guys are too young, and Michael got hurt, and all he's done is move the ball with whoever's in there. It doesn't matter. They are very productive.
Piggybacking on that, Tech has 2 quarterbacks from right here from Lake Travis. You always talk about how it's a big game when Texas players are playing against UT. Is this even bigger because they're straight out of Austin?
I would think so, but everybody that plays against us, it's big. Oklahoma State had 71 kids from the state of Texas, so 375 guys signed per year. We can take 20 to 22 usually, and all the rest of them play against us. So that's what we face every week. But large majority of the kids on the Tech team are from Texas, and they'll be excited about coming in here Thursday night.
Did you watch Baker much at Lake Travis, and have you been impressed by what he's been able to do?
I did. He's very, very good. I think everybody underestimated his ability because he just won games. And I think too much was given to the system, the credit to the system at Lake Travis with Michael Brewer and with Baker, both because they do such a great job out there that it's difficult sometimes to separate just the next quarterback is going to be a good one at Lake Travis because they've played so well. But you got to give Lake Travis credit and give Baker and Michael both credit. They've both done a great job from where they were at Lake Travis to where they are now.
Mack, how's the offense for Tech changed from the Leach days to now with Cliff?
It looks like the same offense. I go back to 2002 when Cliff beat us 42-38 right in the end, or all those teams that Mike had where they come in and they just throw it and they throw it and they throw it, and you have to learn that you better have some fresh legs rushing the passer at the end of the game because they're, like I said, they may throw it 75 times. They don't care. They may go. I remember out here Mike went for 14 fourth downs, I think, one night. One of them was on his own 30. It was a 4th and 5, and I thought, nah, and he did and made it. So that's just who they are. They're risk takers. They are gunslingers. It fits Tech so well, and what Cliff's doing is what we've become to know at Texas Tech. I think he's a perfect fit for them, and he's got a great young staff, and those guys will do a good job.
They see some traits from Sumlin in his offense as well?
Do you know, I haven't studied Kevin that much because I've never coached against Kevin, but Mike Leach, yes, without question.
What's the difference in their first 7 wins and their last 4 losses? What's changed for them?
Played better teams. When you start looking at it, you look at Baylor and Oklahoma State and Kansas State and Oklahoma, and they had a real tough game with Oklahoma, and then after that, I'm sure it's gotten banged up some, got discouraged. They've had quarterback issues where one's been hurt and have to move them back and forth. But I think we're all learning that playing everybody in your league is difficult. A lot of people play easy teams out of conference, and you can get 4 easy teams and beat them, and play some guys in your league and not have to play them all, and then you may catch one team down or one team that's just not any good, and all of a sudden you got 6 or 7 wins on your schedule and you're playing 5 times, and that's not the way in the Big 12. You got to play every week.
Coach, what's the feel you get from your guys after the Oklahoma State game, and they've had a little time to think about it? I know you have the 24-hour rule, but as far as when you have extra time, are they still motivated, or does that motivate them more? Do they want to get that bad taste out of their mouth?
They do. They were very disappointed. We were disappointed as coaches. We felt like we hung in there and did some great things. We just you get 3 turnovers and 2 of them for touchdowns. You missed 2 interceptions. It could be a 14-point swing. And excuse me, we were very poor in the kicking game and at kill field position, and we didn't do the things we needed to do to win the game. And that's as coaches more than anything else. And players and coaches understand that. They understand that we missed a great opportunity. It's something that you don't forget, but you got to move forward. And from what I've seen of practice last week and yesterday, I think we've moved forward and are going to play well Thursday night.
Is David anxious to come back in the spring and be ready to go? I mean, he's having a nice year, and it's one of those freak things where you never know how a kid's going to respond to something like that.
Yes, David's very excited about coming back. He wished he could come back now. And it's been tough for him, even with the other players, when they're saying, "How are you doing?" He said, I'm doing fine. But since he had some reoccurring symptoms, and the concussion thing is a huge issue out there right now, that our doctors and trainers have been rightfully very cautious. But he looks good. He's throwing the ball. He's out at practice, not practicing, but he's out there with the other guys, and they see him, and it's hard for him to say, I wish I could be out there, but they just won't let me right now. So it's obviously safer for him to come back in the spring, and he'll appeal and get his 2 years back, I'm sure, and he'll have a great 2 years left to play.
How hard is it to lose a guy like Jay, Coach, and what he can do to help?
It's tough, but again, you got to go by rules, and that's what happens, and it sends a great message to the other teammates that you better be doing things right or you're not going to play. And we'll watch him carefully this week, and if he does the things he needs to do, then he'll obviously be considered as a possibility to come back for Baylor. Chet's thumb was operated on, so he's out for the year.
With DJ out and Jonathan, does that potentially open the door for someone like Jalen, or would you stick more with just Malcolm and Joe?
I think Joe, and we had really, Joe wasn't playing much running back. We had Jonathan Graham, we had Malcolm, so now Joe Bergeron would take that role, and we've got some things that we're looking at for Jalen, because obviously we're one running back away from being hurt, that he steps in there and does well too. But you lose a lot of speed when you lose DJ and Jonathan, and that is something that Jalen can do.